Hi, my name is Jonathan Sutton, and today, for my persuasive speech, I'm going to be doing it over adopt, don't shop, and dog breeding. And my goal is to persuade you to adopt dogs rather than buy them from straight from a breeder. And the purpose of this is to convince my audience to oppose dog breeding instead of adopt animals from a shelter. And dog breeding should be banned since it leads to overpopulation. A lot of times within dog puppy mills, things like that, or breeders' homes, there a lot of times there's unethical practices, and it allows for thousands of shelter dogs to go to be euthanized because they don't find a home because other people are buying dogs from breeders rather from the shelter instead. So in the United States, every year breeders mutilate and slaughter are responsible for mutilating and slaughtering puppies every year. This is due to the fact that over 390,000 dogs are euthanized in shelters every single year. I volunteered at local dog shelters, animal shelters in general, back home in Memphis. I haven't done it here yet in Clarksville, and I have 3 dogs currently, and they're all shelter dogs that I've gotten. They're just mutts, hounds, things like that. And whether you lean towards being a dog lover or not, this matter branches out into just the idea of animal welfare, consumer ethics, and responsible use of all our resources and our compassion. Rather than breeding, we should be adopting animals that need a home. First, I'm going to show how breeding perpetuates the dog overpopulation crisis. Second, I'm going to address how many breeding operations have cruel and inhumane conditions. Finally, I'm going to argue that adopting from a shelter is the most ethical and compassionate resolution in this matter. Let's first look at what the effects of overbreeding are on the dog population. Around 6.3 million companion animals enter shelters across America each year, never to leave, according to the ASPCA. And for my first point, I'm going to be talking about how breeding contributes to the pet overpopulation situation we have going on right now. There are already more dogs than there are homes in the United States. When breeders continue to produce more puppies, they're adding to a system that's already in distress right now. Even if you just go look at your local animal shelter, there's usually an insane amount of dogs. Like I know that Montgomery, where I most recently got my dog, there was a crazy amount of dogs there. And even responsible breeders take away homes from equally as lovable shelter dogs you could go. According to the Humane Society, around only half of the dogs living in shelters ever get adopted, while breeders produce about 2.4 million puppies every year. And then there's a graph showing there's a graph showing the percentage that are purebreds and not purebreds in shelters. And if the sheer numbers aren't enough, breeding often occurs with cruelty behind the scenes. And this brings me to my second point, which is going to be that breeding supports unethical and inhumane practices. A great number of the dogs that are bred in puppy mills, where they're usually kept in cramped cages, denied proper medical care, and forced to breed repeatedly with complete disregard for their health. Even licensed breeding may find other considerations overriding animal welfare. And the evidence for this is, according to a Humane Society investigation, there are more than 10,000 puppy mills throughout the United States, most without any significant regulation or any oversight to them. And on this slide, I have a couple pictures of the conditions of puppy mills, which are usually cramped and tight. Now let's turn to an alternative, giving solutions that count. So this brings me to my third point, that adoption is ethical, compassionate, and a lot more practical than breeding. Shelter dogs come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and temperaments, including purebreds. There even are purebreds in shelters. By adopting a dog, you save a life while also revoking the ability for unethical breeders to practice, and even more animals to be sheltered. Some people worry about behavioral issues with shelter dogs. I can tell you personally, I have all my dogs right now are shelter dogs. Only one of them is a purebred. And as long as you train your dog, it's more of a owner issue. As long as you train your dog's going to be good. And obviously there's some health things with not having a purebred, but still in my opinion, it's a lot more, the situation at hand is a lot more important than that. But there aren't as many entirely healthy and well behaved. And the shelter will likely give you support and training too if you need. Usually they offer all the vaccinations free at first. Like I know Montgomery County, where I just got my most recent dog, they offer for $100. They offer your dog to get neutered or spayed. They offer all the vaccinations up to the first year, usually for free, and they give you a variety of other options like deworming, heartworm test, all that for free at the start. According to Pet Finder, 25% of shelter dogs are purebred, and most are relinquished through their no fault of their own. And then on that slide too, there's some before and after pictures of dogs before and after they were rescued. And this brings me to my conclusion. Clearly, this decision has grave consequences for either breeding or adoption. Breeding encourages overpopulation, cruelty, and neglect of the barking thousands waiting to be adopted. We saw that breeding only accelerates the pet population crisis, usually with cruel treatment, and that adoption on a humane, sustainable basis is usually a far better solution. These points show how that banning breeding and promoting adoption is the kindest and most holistical way of moving forward. If you or someone you know is thinking about getting a dog, please adopt, don't shop. Take action against puppy mills that are breeding for profit. Support shelters, donate, volunteer, and you can even foster if you don't want to have a dog permanently. And you can even tell your lawmakers to impose stricter regulations on puppy mills, breeders, and develop initiatives in your community. Your decision can save a life of a dog. Why create more dogs when so many already need a saving right now? I hope in this time you've learned why each dog serves a home and not a price tag. And on that last slide, I have a couple of my references.